Good afternoon, Hotline.
Yes, I was wondering if at your city council meeting last night you might have discussed anything about the noise ordinance law.
No, we didn't.
Is there a noise ordinance law in Watertown, New York?
There is one. It's very difficult to enforce, but there is one, yes.
So if a police officer happens to hear a noise, should they not issue a ticket?
Well, what kind of noise you talking about?
Noise from audio arsenal. I've been to several council meetings. Every time I leave the council, I'm told a ton of things while I'm there. Every time I leave, I'm pushed to the back burner. I had a police officer here last night. He heard the noise 4 times and was told by his supervisor not to issue a ticket because there was no noise ordinance law. My question to you as the mayor of Watertown is, how are you helping my family, and when is there going to be something done? I was told you were going to rewrite the law, right? I mean, I was at that.
I think Councilman Butler indicated that he was going to try to have it rewritten. I will tell you, I just don't see it as being easily enforceable because the situation being so transient and so on, it's hard to establish what is a, what...
So how are people in the city of Watertown being ticketed left and right? Because I get the Watertown Daily Times and I read it, and there's people getting cited for the noise ordinance law. So at what point do you draw the line? I mean, at what point do I get the help that I need noise that disrupts my house? This is the beginning of summer. Just like I told you at the council meeting, as soon as summer hit, I was going to be bombarded by their music and by the people that hang out in their parking lot. Beginning of summer, and it's happening.
This is Audio Arsenal over on the corner of
Arsenal and
Casey Street.
And, I mean, we're going on 2 years, aren't we? 2 years of me trying to get the city to help me with this problem, help my family with this problem. Still, there's no resolution. You're supposed to be the mayor of Watertown, and you should be who we can turn to. Yet we're getting no resolution at all. We're getting promises, but we get nowhere with it.
Okay. You had the police over there last night.
Yes, I did.
Well, and they said they were told not to write tickets.
They were told by their supervisor not to write tickets because the law was found
Now, was the noise going on when the officer was there?
Yes, he heard it 4 times. He went out and called his supervisor because he heard the noise. And these police officers are trying to do everything they can for us, but their hands are tied, too, when they're being told not to issue a ticket. And that's what he was told by his supervisor, not to issue a ticket because the law was found unconstitutional. At our last council meeting that I was at, you guys said you were going to call Chief Cross and have him start issuing tickets again.
Well, and you still haven't, and have you ever discussed this with those people at Audio Arsenal?
No, with these, I had an officer go over and try to talk to him. One of them was...
Have you ever tried to talk to him?
The officer went over and tried to talk to him, a different one.
No, but have you ever?
I can't go over there and... No, I haven't. I've tried to go up the street. These people are rude. No. It's not going to work that way. I think that's been very apparent throughout everything that's happened, and the times we've been to the council meeting to try to explain our problem to you. I think that's very apparent that there's no way my family can walk over there and try to discuss this with them. That's why we came to you. That's why we took the steps and came to the people that are supposed to be running our city and asked for the help.
Right. And I think the issue is that you've got, when you're dealing with noise, which I think you'd have to agree that what's offensive to some isn't necessarily to others, and there's all sorts of different circumstances, and noise being a transient thing, it's hard to really, determine. There's people who live over on Earl Street, right behind the arena, who have to listen to the compressor run all day. I mean, that could be annoying to them. They choose not to say anything about it. There's all sorts of things you sometimes run into in an urban environment. Now, if these folks are going out of their way to be to try to antagonize you, I don't think that's morally right. But I just don't see how you go over there and establish in a court of law that somebody should be fined or whatever for the amount of noise they're taking when you can't really...
If a police officer is standing in my kitchen and he can hear the music in my kitchen, is that not unreasonable?
What are they hearing? A low frequency thump?
It's not low. It's the bass coming through, and it's not low.
It's just the bass, though, right?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the way you say that is just the bass.
Well, no, I'm just saying it because...
If you had to live in my house, or your mother was living next door to this, would you want it?
Well, no, and I know how low frequency noise travels.
Okay, so just the bass. It's irrelevant if it's just the bass. It's coming into my house from 8:45 in the morning yesterday till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night last night. I mean, if I looked on my list, which I do keep, I could tell you the exact time, but I'm standing away from my radio. That's unreasonable for me to have to listen to. For me to have to listen to. For any person to have to listen to. You wouldn't like it. I don't like it. And I've come to the city council over and over again. In fact, I almost went there last night after the police officer was told he couldn't issue a ticket. To me, if a police officer, before it was the police officers that were hearing them. This time the police officer heard it and still couldn't issue a ticket. Now, at what point do I get help? I know people in Watertown are being cited for the noise ordinance law. They should have been cited. And you have a...
Well, they were cited before and they didn't stop, though, did they?
Pardon me?
They didn't stop when they were cited before, did they?
No, because Judge Ludington threw the one case out, which had 100 tickets attached to it, which each of those should have had a ticket issued. It shouldn't have been all rolled into one. It should have been a ticket for each and every one of them. I'm sitting here with a problem, and I am seriously wondering where the city is standing with this. If you can issue tickets to other people in Watertown, noise ordinance tickets, why can't they be issued a ticket? It wasn't just me here at this time. It wasn't just my family hearing it this time. It was a police officer hearing it. And still no ticket was issued. Pick and choose who you give the tickets to?
Well,
I can go in and pull out newspaper articles right now, and I can read you names of people that have been issued tickets in the city of Watertown.
Well, yeah, there are. It is a judgment call generally as to who gets a ticket and who doesn't, especially with something as subjective as whether a noise is offensive or not. You have a kind of a unique situation over there that we.
This officer was going to write a ticket, but his supervisor told him not to.
Well, who was the officer?
Officer Bull.
Uh-huh. And
he was told by Supervisor Ruff not to write a ticket.
Okay.
So at what point, and the officers are trying to help, so at what point does the city step in and say, go ahead and issue the tickets? It's a real simple thing. Let a judge decide if the ticket's going to be thrown out, but a ticket should be issued each time I call. These people are harassing my family, and you're not helping. Yesterday, that music went, like I said, from 8:45 until 7:30 or longer. There wasn't a car up there half of the day, because I have to pass the business every time I leave the street. There was the owner's vehicle, and either they installed terrible stereos and have to keep reinstalling the stereo, or they're harassing me. Those are the two choices.
And you think they're harassing you?
I believe fully that they're harassing me, and I believe someone needs to step in and stop it. And you guys said that you were going to do something. You even said yourself that you were going to come down and try to talk to him. Have you been down?
I haven't yet. It's on my list of things to do.
This is a 2-year battle. Do you understand this? I have an 83-year-old father-in-law and a 79-year-old mother-in-law that are being pushed every single day for a property that they have enjoyed all of their life, that they have paid taxes on, and they have raised their family on. I have raised my family here for the past 26 years, and we are not getting any cooperation. These people have been here for 2 years. 2 years. Which people take precedence and which don't? We're the people that pay our taxes. These people have a business here. What's more important to you? I know that you have a business, which creates noise, so is that the problem? Are you being the mayor? Are you being a radio personality? Or are you being a business owner? Because on your own blog, you advised them to give it a lawyer, because the only resolution was that we thought was a resolution was for them to go. May
Well, you can, I mean...
2011. You had that on your own blog. I took a copy of it. I'm done being pushed around. I really am. And I don't feel I'm getting cooperation. My father-in-law is in the hospital right now because he's so stressed out over all this. This is not right. This is not right. In your law, it says if it's detrimental to someone's health. Their doctor wrote you a letter saying it was detrimental to their health, and yet nothing has been done. He sent that letter to City Council.
Right.
But nothing's been done. I mean, at what point do you step in and do something?
Well, I will talk to the city manager and the city police chief about it again. You know, in the range of issues that we deal with, I know this has come up time to time. I know it's a day-to-day thing with you, and it's not an easily solved thing. City council members themselves can't really write tickets themselves, nor under this system of government can you tell somebody to go write a ticket. So,
but if the city police department has been advised by somebody, I don't know who advises them as to if they can write tickets or not, but by somebody not to issue tickets anymore, who is it that tells them not to write the tickets because the law is unconstitutional, even though it's being enforced for other people?
Yeah, I'm not sure who it's being enforced on. Is that mostly vehicles or?
Well, there was some guy in his apartment got it twice. He was fined $120. You had the lady in her vehicle that was cited with the noise ordinance law. I think her name was Norcy Bell or something. You've had several people cited. I mean, who gets to choose who gets cited?
That would be a judgment call by the police at the moment, but I'm sure they do get some guidance from up above. I'll check it this afternoon.
Okay, I'd appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, Hotline. Hello?